Mute your line, Howard. All right, Coach. We'll start off with Zach Berman and then go Tim McManus.
Hey, good morning, Doug. Since we last spoke, you obviously signed Jason Peters. What made you think Jason can play right guard? And what level of patience will you exercise with Andre Dillard at left tackle, knowing that Jason's in the building?
Yeah, first of all, good morning, guys, and welcome to the 2020 training camp. We're excited to be back in the building. We're excited to be working with our rookie players starting today. Things are a little unusual. Obviously, the schedule's a little different. It's unfortunate for most of you not being over here and doing this face-to-face, but we're excited to get this thing going and look forward to working with our guys, moving forward. But to get back to your question, we had many conversations with Jason. We took a look at our roster, obviously, and felt that where Jason is and the type of player he is, obviously his leadership on the football team, that the transition would be relatively easy. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but it's relatively easy for him being a veteran guy, moving into that guard spot. And quite frankly, we love where Andre's at. He's had a tremendous offseason. The things he did for us last season, the couple games that he played and started for us, he did well. And it's just going to be a great opportunity for him, moving forward. And I'm looking forward to really getting these guys, those five guys, working up front with Stout to see where they can go this season.
Okay, Tim, and then Dave Zingaro.
Good morning, Doug. I'm sure that you saw the outbreak that the Marlins are having over in baseball, playing in Philadelphia over the past few days. What kind of things is that making you think about as you kind of undertake your own season?
Yeah, hey Tim, thanks for the question. I'll say this: my hat goes off to many people in the Philadelphia organization. I think about our stadium people. I think about the grounds people. I think about Don Smolinski, everybody that had a hand in getting us where we are today to be able to come back safely into NovaCare, and the protocols that the NFL has put in place with the Players Association, the agreement there with all of our doctors. It gives us hope. It gives us excitement moving forward. We understand that the virus is real. And we do everything we can in our powers to stay safe, protecting ourselves when we're in the building, protecting our players, and it's unfortunate what has happened, but we do have a lengthy set of protocols that we have to abide by, and this is our new normal right now, working in these conditions, as probably most of you working in your conditions as well. So. It's something that we're going to embrace. We're going to make it a positive. It is what it is, and we're going to embrace it and move forward.
Okay, we'll go Dave and then Paul Domowitch.
Hey, Doug, good morning. Based on how unusual this offseason has been and now the unique challenges of what training camp will be, how difficult and how much will it change the way you build a roster this year and how you evaluate these players?
Yeah, Dave, it's it's a little different. We're starting out in this. It's really training camp has been divided into three phases, much like the offseason program. So it's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we're in this phase 1 strength conditioning phase right now, and then we get into the acclimation phase, and then once we get into the training camp, the so-called training camp or the padded portion of camp, I've got to do what I feel is best for the football team from a standpoint of putting the guys in position to succeed on the field. Meaning, we got to have answers on a lot of our players. Especially the young guys. We haven't seen these rookies, live and in person. So it's my job as the head coach to from a scheduling standpoint as we go throughout this training camp. To put our guys in competitive situations to see what they can do, and then do the best we can at the end of training camp to come up with the 53.
Okay, Paul, and then Rob Motti.
Yeah, Doug, piggybacking off that question, are you not relying heavily on your rookies early on right now as far as the contributions they might be able to make?
No, I wouldn't go that far because as you know, every year there's going to be a rookie or two that really steps up and performs and catches our eye. It doesn't matter if he's a guy on offense or defense. He could be a starter on special teams. I mean, we can't forget that. So that's what I'm most excited about. So we've got to, as coaches, we've got to get our young players caught up extremely fast. I'll tell you this: we had a really good offseason, as virtual as it was with the meetings. We spent some time virtually with our rookies this past week, and these guys are in a really good place mentally. Now it's about taking it to the grass, seeing what they know, and then leaning on these guys as much as we can throughout training camp.
Rob, and then Les Bowen.
Hey, Doug, how do you make up for the lack of preseason games, and how will you find ways to evaluate the back end of the roster, guys? And not only that, you have, I believe, about 72% of players returning snaps, guys who played last year returning. So you also have to evaluate those guys as well. How do you do that without preseason games?
Yeah, that's something that, as I alluded to earlier, just coming up with creative ways, whether I do more scrimmage situations. I do a couple live practices, during camp anyway, and I've got to do, maybe some more scrimmages and put our young players and put the guys we need answers on in those situations. I've got to come up with ways of having game-like situations in practice because we are missing, the preseason game. So it can definitely be done. We'll be creative about it as a staff, and we'll eventually have the answers we need at the end of camp.
Les, and then Ruben Frank.
Hi, Doug. Have you had anybody test positive thus far from the rookies and the people that have been in the building?
Yeah, Les. No, you know what? In relation to those questions and that question, obviously I can't give out that information because of the NFL, the Players Association, our medical team. So that information right now is not accessible to you guys.
Go ahead, Rube.
Yeah,
and
Doug.
Then, Jeff McLean.
Hey, Doug. How safe do you feel? How safe, as you embark on this process, do you feel you are, your staff is, and your players are?
Yeah, Ruben. I feel extremely safe. Obviously coming into it, there might have been some skepticism, about the testing and the screening that goes on, but it's very thorough. And, when you're here, when you get tested in the morning, you got a screening process that you have to go through to get into the building, wearing masks in the building, everywhere we go. I feel extremely safe. This is our bubble right here at NovaCare. And so, I can't control everything. We can't control everything. There probably are going to be some things that come up down the road, but right now I feel extremely safe, and this is a great environment for our players to succeed in.
Jeff McLean, and then Kristen Rogers.
Doug, I know you can't tell us about players who've tested positive if they have or not, but who are the players that came back early that were injured, and where do they stand in terms of their recoveries? What should we expect about guys like Alshon Jeffrey? What's the injury update?
Yeah, talking about some of the injuries, obviously without getting in depth, I mean, all the guys are doing extremely well. I'm looking forward to getting these guys back on the field at some point. As you know, we don't rush guys back, and we let them heal, and we let them, and what's good about this process right now, Jeff, is the fact that we don't have to ramp up. We're not going into pads right away. So there's this acclimation phase that we can begin to, really ramp our guys up into. And so our injured guys will be, the ones that'll be working in that phase as well. And then hopefully be ready, for the regular season. We'll see how it goes throughout these first couple of phases.
Can you tell us what players came back early that were injured?
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you. I mean, we had all the guys that were injured at the end of the season. You had, let's see, we had Brandon, we had Rodney McLeod. Gosh, I don't have the list in front of me right now. We had all the guys that were on, injured reserve last year that had to based on our protocol they had to pass physicals and all that before they could be cleared and whatnot, and we got those guys in here. I don't have that list necessarily in front of me, so I can't. It's hard to answer all that question.
Okay, Kristen, and then Jim Kemsky.
Hey, Doug. As we look around the league and how all sports teams are kind of acclimating in this time, we see MLS, we see the NBA in a bubble. We see Major League Baseball traveling, and obviously the NFL will travel as well. The Phillies-Yankees game tonight just got canceled, so I'm curious how much you have to look ahead to what Major League Baseball is doing as they set a precedent for other leagues that will travel later this season.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I know we're looking at all the leagues obviously and what everybody is doing, but you know what? Quite honestly, I'm concerned right here with Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Eagles, our players, and trying to get our team, ready to go for the regular season. So I know the guys that are higher up than me are watching that. Our doctors and the medical team with the NFL, they're watching all this stuff. They're in constant conversations, constant meetings, and they'll have a plan. They'll be prepared. So it's my job to get the team prepared, and then obviously their job to make sure that we're all safe and doing the right thing.
We'll go Jimmy and then Martin Frank.
Hey, Doug, how difficult would this offseason have been if this were your first year as a head coach? Just thinking back to 2016, and how big of an advantage is it that you, your quarterback, and your defensive coordinator are all heading into your fifth year together, while the rest of the division all hired new staffs?
Yeah, I tell you, I've thought about that with the obviously the new staffs and just in our division here and in our conference, and it's got to be extremely tough not to be around. They spent a little bit of time, probably, maybe a few weeks, way back in February and March, maybe together, but it'd be hard. And then not having your players in the off season, trying to teach a new offense, defense, special teams, I'm sure is probably difficult in its own right. So, we've been blessed. I've been blessed to going into my fifth year here in Philadelphia and maintaining the staff that I have and have some great additions to the staff this year. And I think that our players are excited because they're not having to learn necessarily a new offense, defense, or special team. So I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be a leg up, but at the same time, it does give us confidence going into camp that we all are on the same page.
We got time for two more, so we'll do Martin and then John McMullen.
Hey, Doug, I was wondering if you can give us an update on Alshon's status. And because of the pandemic, the fact that you didn't have spring practices and everything, do you see him having a role this year? I mean, do you think that's been increased because of the situation? Yeah,
Alshon was obviously, Jeff, one of the guys too that came back early to follow up on that question. But he's doing extremely well. Again, he's in a really good spot. He's going to continue to work and get himself ready. Obviously, I won't. Me. I don't put timetables on players, but when he's ready, and he'll be back. He'll be back out there on the field with us. So I'm excited where he's at, and even though. Yeah, we missed the spring and had this pandemic. He was still working and rehabbing and doing everything that he could to get himself ready for the season.
Go ahead, John.
Good morning, Doug. Just curious, obviously, you've had a lot of injuries past couple of seasons, next man up mentality. Have you given a lot of thought that you need sort of backups for everybody now, even the coaching staff on a particular week? How much thought have you put into that?
Yeah, great question, and I've thought about that quite a bit. The closer I got here to camp and being in the building, because we got to have a plan for everything, as you know, and we've one of the things that we've been faced with, and I think we've done a really good job here, is we've overcome some of the injuries we've had the last couple of seasons. We've coached that next guy, that next player has been able to go in and perform at a high level. But now I think that has to carry over to the coaching staff, just as you mentioned. I think there has to be a plan in place for any coach or any staff member that may miss either a couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks because of the virus. So those are all things that are running through my mind. Again, we're in a different a different environment, and we all have to do our part to protect ourselves, protect our players and our families, and hopefully we minimize any setbacks.
Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.